name is Martin from Beach House Home Inspections. You're building a new house and you're wondering, do I need to get a home inspector to look at the house as it's being built? Everything I'm going to show you in this video has already been inspected by the authority having jurisdiction, the plumbing inspector, the electrical inspector. So you do want to hire me when your house starts to look like this. We got underground work has been done, the forms are up, the plumbing is in. This is when I like to come in and perform home inspections. This has already been inspected. There was one problem that we found. Let's go take a look. Plumbing actually looks pretty good. When I come in, I look at the forms. I check them for height, make sure they don't vary by, these forms varied by 1/4 inch in the front, 1/4 inch in the back. I check the measurements and compare them to the drawings. When I was inspecting this house, I am one of 2 home inspectors on the Grand Strand that is a certified plumbing inspector, HV inspector, and electrical inspector. I am also the only home inspector in the state that is also a licensed plumbing contractor. This was a kitchen sink drain that was back rated and it had a belly in the middle. Now they're gonna get 5 inches of dirt on top of this pad. On top of that, 4 inches of concrete. So that belly that was unsupported would have been worse. It would have caused a clog later on down the road, and these folks would have been calling out a plumber at least once a year, maybe twice a year, to rot out that kitchen, thinking they're doing something wrong. Nothing was wrong, it was just the way it was installed. This is why you want to hire a home inspector to look at your house before it's built. I'll start looking at the footings, I'll check the width, the rebar, then I look at the framing. We look at a lot of things with the framing, the roof, the siding, drywall, how is that installed? And then we'll do a final home inspection later where we will just do a regular home inspection just like we're doing for a normal house. It'll take about 3.5 to 4 hours. And then the homeowner will get a report. And then what happens is the builder will get that report, and if the homeowners are smart, they won't move into the house until all the repairs have been made. So I'm gonna show you a house where this is exactly what's happened. I did a final home inspection. We came up with 31 items, 13 code violations, and the homeowners would not move in until all the corrections were made. So let's get started with that one. Okay, so we're on the roof that had a lot of issues. This entire roof, right through here, this entire section, I would say probably at least 100 shingles were replaced. Because of the traffic, the roof is put on during construction, right? Before the siding is put on, then the siding gets put on, it gets painted. That foot traffic caused a lot of damage to this roof. It's been repaired. The only thing that really hasn't been repaired, and this is something that the homeowners are going to absolutely insist gets repaired, is we can still, we have this loose shingle right here. This isn't properly flashed. So that is one item that's gonna have to be corrected before anybody moves in. But for the most part, they really did a nice job repairing these shingles. It's a nice blend. You can't tell that the color is any different, but you can't see the damage that was done to this roof until you actually get up on the roof and look at it. It went unnoticed by everybody, including the superintendent. So good home inspectors, they get up on the roof and they really get their hands close and they take a look at flashing, they take a look at the condition of the shingles. It's a brand new house. 150 shingles had to be replaced. Another issue that we had with the house was, this is the vent pipe for one of the furnaces in the attic. The code requirements require it to be a specific distance according to the grade. The pitch of the roof has to be a certain height. This one was about 12 inches too short. It barely stuck out of the roof. So they did add an extension. This could have prevented a future fire. I'm glad they made the correction. This is why you hire a home inspector to look at your home. Again, everything I'm showing you has already been inspected by the local code inspectors. The HVAC inspector, the electrical, and the plumbing have all signed off on this house. So I'm glad to see this correction was made. Brand new house, fit and finish look great. It's gorgeous. Question is, yeah, the outside looks great, drywall's perfect, the floor looks terrific, everything really looks beautiful. But somewhere in this home, there's a disconnect. The craft did some work in the attic. Who checks on their work? Did the city inspectors go up there and look at their work? Did the superintendent for the job site go up there and look at their work? So sometimes setting up a ladder is just too much work. We're gonna go take a look up in that attic and see if anybody did a proper inspection. If not, we're gonna call out all the deficiencies that we find. So it looks like they did chip away at the roofing material to give us 1 inch clearance between the B vent and the sheathing. We do have 1 inch clearance between this HVAC duct and the flue piping. The only thing is there's nothing holding this flue pipe together. It should have a brace around there, better secured on the furnace. The other flue pipe is fine. We have a nice clearance, about 6 inches between the flue pipe and the duct. They did remove the auxiliary fan condensate drain, and we do have a switch in here that will turn the unit on after that one gets wet. I would like to see some seismic strapping installed on these furnaces as well. It's part of the code. Other than that, it looks great. Okay, so corrections were made on the electric panel. When I performed my home inspection originally, I was like about an hour behind the electrical inspector, so he already signed off, everything was good. However, we found the circuit breaker for the living room was oversized. It was 20 amp on a 14 gauge wire. So what could happen then is you could overload that conductor, it gets really hot, and you could cause a fire. It's not going to trip until you hit that 20 amps. So 14 gauge wire has to be protected with a 15 amp circuit breaker. Rather than just run new conductors to the living room about 150 feet, they just changed the size of the circuit breaker, which is perfectly fine. I'm glad they did that. That's the easiest way to fix this. We also had 3 receptacles in the garage that were not GFCI protected. They are now. So remember, the electrical inspector only found 1. This is why you have a home inspector before you move into a house, especially if your home is 10 years old, 15 years old. You got 10, 15 years of Home Depot, Lowe's guys doing stuff in the house, homeowners doing their weekend warrior stuff. This is a brand new house. This was just inspected, and we came up with, I think it was 13 code violations and 31 items that needed correction. So hire a good home inspector before you put $600,000, $750,000 down on a house, even 200 grand, 100 grand down on a condo. Hire somebody to come and take a look at it, make sure everything's okay for you. Because if you don't fix it now, before you buy the house, you go to sell that house, those defects, you own them, they're yours. So it's up to you.